God is exposing the person who can't stop loving you. Open this now. Don't scroll. Listen to this because this message is reaching you in the exact moment your spirit is ready to receive what heaven has been trying to whisper to you for weeks. And your heart needs this right now more than you even understand. So breathe and stay with me as these words touch the deepest part of you. God is exposing the person who can't stop loving you. The one whose soul has been tied to yours in ways they no longer have the strength to hide. The one who has been fighting emotions they never expected to feel. And heaven is saying it's time for you to know the truth. So don't scroll. Your heart needs this right now. If this feels personal, if your heart is reacting before your mind understands, type Amen 739 to receive clarity. This person has been carrying the weight of unspoken feelings, replaying memories of you, thinking about conversations you had, wishing they could take back mistakes they made, and they've been waking up with you on their mind and going to sleep with your name in their heart. But fear, pride, confusion, and outside voices have kept them quiet, even though their soul has been screaming for you. So listen to this because this message is for you and only you. God is placing pressure on this person's heart, revealing their truth to you through signs, dreams, angel numbers, and sudden emotional waves that hit you out of nowhere. Don't scroll. Your heart needs this right now, because heaven is showing you flashes of their face at random moments, nudging your spirit with that familiar pull you keep trying to shake off. And you've been feeling it lately, haven't you? That invisible tug. That weird sense that someone is thinking about you deeply, intensely, constantly. And that's because they are. God is exposing the love they tried to bury, the love they tried to silence, the love they tried to downplay, and the love they can no longer hide from. Don't scroll. Your heart needs this right now, because this person has been wrestling with guilt over how things ended, regret over what they didn't say, and longing for what they know could have been something rare, something divine, something heaven touched. And they didn't realize the value of your presence until they felt the ache of your absence. Listen to this because your heart needs this truth. God has been allowing this person to feel the full weight of their choices, letting them see how emptiness feels when they walk away from someone heaven assigned to their journey. And now their heart is cracking open, exposing every emotion they tried to deny. And God is saying the truth is rising to the surface. So don't scroll. Your heart needs this right now. This person is seeing signs everywhere. Your initials, their favorite memories of you, songs that remind them of you, dreams that feel too real to ignore, angel numbers like 222 telling them alignment is calling, 444 showing them protection is covering this connection, and 111 reminding them that the universe is giving them a chance to choose differently this time. Don't scroll because heaven needs you to feel this message. This person has reached a breaking point, a place where hiding their feelings is hurting more than admitting them. And God is exposing their love because you've been praying for clarity, for a sign, for understanding, and heaven refuses to let you stay in confusion any longer. Listen, because this message is for you. This person's heart has been trembling with the urge to reach out. Their fingers hovering over your name more times than you realize. Their spirit trying to form the words they have been terrified to speak. And God is guiding them toward honesty, pushing them toward truth, and preparing them for a moment of vulnerability they can no longer run from. Don't scroll. Your heart needs this right now, because heaven is revealing that this person is scared. Scared of losing you forever. Scared of being too late. Scared of watching someone else love you the way they should have. And that fear is turning into a divine push, forcing them to confront what they've been hiding in silence. God is exposing their love. If you're ready to receive what heaven is unfolding for you, type Amen 581 and stay open to what's coming next. To hurt you, but to prepare you, to show you that the connection you felt wasn't imagination, wasn't delusion, wasn't one-sided, but something spiritual, something written, something heaven crafted long before your paths even crossed. Don't scroll. Your heart needs this right now. This person has been feeling emotional breakdowns, moments where their heart tightens out of nowhere, moments where tears come unexpectedly, moments where they feel a sudden pull toward you they can no longer explain away. And heaven is saying their soul recognizes yours. Their heart belongs with yours. And their spirit is finally waking up to what God has been showing them all along. Listen to this. Because your heart has been waiting for confirmation, God is exposing their intentions, their love, their truth, and their fears. Because something is shifting inside them, something is breaking open, something is rising, and they are finally realizing that losing you would be the biggest regret of their life. Don't scroll. Your heart needs this right now, because heaven is about to reveal more, and this is only the beginning of what's coming next. Don't scroll, because what I'm about to reveal is reaching you at the exact moment your spirit has finally become ready to hear the truth the universe has been trying to press into your heart. And your heart needs this right now more than you even realize. So stay right here with me, as this message unfolds in a way that feels strangely familiar, almost like your soul already knows what's coming. Someone has been quietly unraveling emotionally because of the love they still carry for you. Someone who has been trying to keep their feelings buried under layers of distraction, pride, logic, and fear. But heaven is exposing what they can no longer hide. And don't scroll, because this message is for you and only you. This person has been reliving moments with you in their mind over and over. Moments that seemed small to you, but were seismic to them. Moments where your voice soothed something inside them they didn't know was wounded. Moments where your presence felt like safety, like home, like something they've spent years searching for without knowing it. Listen to this, because your heart needs it right now. Lately, they've been feeling waves of emotion that come out of nowhere. A sudden tightness in their throat, a heaviness in their chest, a longing so strong it stops them mid-step. And though they've tried to ignore it, heaven keeps placing reminders of you everywhere they go. Through angel numbers like 111, whispering new beginnings, 222, nudging alignment, 55, signaling transformation, and songs or memories that hit them like a message straight from above. And don't scroll, because the universe needs you to understand the depth of this truth. This person has been wrestling with guilt, with regret, with the fear that they waited too long to be honest, and the fear that you might have already started healing beyond them, moving forward in ways they can feel even from a distance. Because yes, they can feel you pulling away, and it scares them more than anything. Listen closely, because your heart needs this right now. This person is trying so hard to keep it together in front of others, pretending everything is fine, pretending they're not affected, pretending they've moved on, but heaven sees the truth. And the truth is that they are breaking down quietly in silence behind closed doors, because every time they think of you, something inside them aches with the realization that they let something rare slip through their fingers. Don't scroll, because this message is still speaking to your spirit. This person has been feeling divine pressure, a push from the universe telling them it's time to stop running from what their heart has already chosen. And they've been having dreams about you, dreams that feel more real than reality, dreams where they hear your voice, see your smile, feel your presence, and wake up with tears in their eyes, because losing you is no longer just a fear, it's a nightmare they can't escape. Listen, because your heart needs this right now. Heaven is showing them the consequences of silence, revealing the emptiness they've tried to fill with temporary people, temporary distractions, temporary escapes, but nothing works, because their soul doesn't crave temporary, it craves you. And don't scroll, because Spirit wants you to hear this next part. They are not just thinking about you occasionally, they are thinking about you constantly, obsessively, intensely, the kind of thinking that makes their hands shake and their stomach flip, the kind of thinking that keeps them awake at night, replaying what they should have said, what they should have done, what they wish they could fix. And heaven is allowing that discomfort, because it's the only way to awaken them fully to the truth of this connection. Listen to this, because your heart needs clarity. This person has been giving signs to the universe, whispering your name in prayer or in thought, asking for guidance, asking for courage, asking for another chance, and heaven has heard them, which is why you've been sensing their energy lately, feeling sudden emotions, thinking about them at random moments, even when you don't want to, feeling an invisible pull that keeps drawing your spirit toward theirs, even when logic tells you not to care. Don't scroll, because this next part is important. The universe is aligning a moment where truth can no longer be avoided, where the emotions they've been suppressing come pouring out, where the words they've swallowed finally spill forward, where all the masks they've worn fall away, because love is stronger than fear, and heaven is preparing you for that moment. By revealing the truth behind their silence, they never stopped loving you, not for a second. And listen, because your heart needs this more than you've admitted. This person is terrified that you've changed, terrified that they're no longer good enough, terrified that they waited too long. Yet their soul keeps pulling them toward you, begging them to speak, begging them to heal, begging them to choose you boldly this time instead of cautiously. And don't scroll, because heaven is still speaking. Your connection with this person is not ordinary, not casual, not random, but something spiritual, something purposeful, something written long before either of you understood what destiny truly meant. And that's why you felt them energetically, even in the silence, even in the distance, even when everything seemed over. Because love like this doesn't disappear. It transforms, it deepens, it intensifies until truth can no longer be ignored. Listen to this, because your heart needs it right now. This person has reached the place where their emotions are overflowing, where the longing is unbearable, where the desire to confess is stronger than the fear of rejection, and heaven is placing this message in front of you, because something is shifting in them, something is rising, something is waking up, and soon their truth will meet your ears, in a way that leaves no room for doubt. Don't scroll, because this message is your confirmation that everything you've been feeling, sensing, dreaming, and intuitively picking up was never in your imagination. Your soul was simply hearing what their heart was screaming all along. Don't scroll, because what I'm about to reveal is unfolding in real time around you, and your heart needs this right now more than you even understand. So stay with me as this message reaches into the places you've kept quiet, the places you don't talk about, the places where hope and fear have been sitting side by side for far too long. Because the truth the universe is exposing is deeper than anything you've imagined. The person who can't stop loving you has reached a breaking point so intense that it's causing visible shifts in their energy, their behavior, their emotions, and even the way they move through their day. And while they've been trying to suppress it, heaven isn't letting them anymore. Listen closely, because this message is for you. This person's soul has been calling out to yours in ways you felt without knowing why. through sudden waves of sadness, sudden bursts of longing, sudden flashes of memories you didn't ask for, because their heart has been sending signals into the spiritual realm, signals strong enough that they're echoing inside your intuition. And don't scroll, because this next part is important. This person has been fighting a battle inside themselves. A battle between what they feel and what they fear. Between the love that keeps pulling them toward you and the wounds that keep pulling them away. And heaven is exposing this conflict because their silence has become heavier than their truth, and they can't keep pretending they're unaffected. Your heart needs this right now. They've tried everything to disconnect from you, to distract themselves, to build walls around their emotions, but nothing works. Not late-night scrolling, not busy schedules, not other people, not attempts to replace what they felt with you, because heaven never allowed their spirit to attach to anyone in the same way, and deep down they know it. And don't scroll, because this revelation is unfolding deeper. This person is being spiritually confronted with the reality of how they treated you, how they withdrew, how they hesitated, how they broke your heart, even if they didn't mean to. And the weight of that realization has been pushing them into emotional corners they can't escape. They've been feeling uneasy, restless, unable to sleep, unable to focus, unable to pretend, because every time they lie down at night, something inside them whispers your name, not as a memory, not as regret, but as a calling that hasn't gone silent since the moment they let go. Listen, because your heart needs the truth. Heaven has been orchestrating synchronicities around this person, nudging them through repeating numbers like 1111, reminding them of the spiritual connection, sending them 777 to show divine intervention, 44 to remind them you are protected, and 242 to signal that the connection between you has always been about alignment, not coincidence. And don't scroll, because the universe needs you to feel this. This person is being pushed into accountability, pushed into honesty, pushed into vulnerability, because the angels have removed the distractions that kept them running, exposed the relationships that never matched the depth they had with you, and stripped away the emotional shields they used to hide behind. Their world is shifting, not to punish them, but to bring them home, to themselves, and to the truth of how deeply they still love you. And your heart needs this clarity right now. They've been imagining conversations with you, imagining what they would say, imagining how they'd explain the silence, the mistakes, the fear. And even though they haven't said it out loud yet, their spirit is already speaking to yours, and you felt it as sudden warmth in your chest, sudden pressure behind your eyes, sudden emotions you can't explain. Don't scroll, because the universe is not done revealing. Someone close to them has noticed the shift, noticed their distraction, noticed how emotional they've become. When your name comes up, or when something reminds them of you, and this has forced them to face not just their feelings, but the reality that hiding them is no longer an option. They've tried being strong, tried being stoic, tried pretending you didn't change their life in ways they can't fully articulate, but the truth is surfacing in undeniable waves. You are the one who awakened something inside them, something they didn't even know existed, and their spirit hasn't felt at peace since they distanced themselves from you. And your heart needs to hear this next part. Heaven is showing them glimpses of what their life looks like without your energy. And it scares them, breaks them, shakes them, because they realize they didn't just lose a person, they lost their safe place, their emotional mirror, their spiritual equal, their soulmate. And don't scroll, because this message is building. This person is standing at a crossroads where they must choose between continuing to live in fear or stepping into the kind of vulnerability that could change everything. And heaven is giving them signs that time is running short for them to remain silent. Their emotional breakdowns, their sudden tears, their unexpected moments of softness are not random. They are spiritual awakenings, divine reminders that the connection between you is never meant to fade. Your heart needs this right now. Heaven is preparing a moment of divine timing, a moment where truth, emotion, and courage collide. A moment where this person will reach for you, not out of impulse, but out of realization, out of clarity, out of love that's been growing quietly beneath their fear. And they are terrified, not of loving you, but of what it means to finally admit it. Because once they speak their truth, everything changes, and heaven wants you to know that the change coming is not one of loss, but one of revelation, of healing, of emotional awakening. Because this connection was always bigger than the silence, bigger than the fear, bigger than the distance. And now heaven is bringing their truth to the surface in a way they can no longer deny, and soon neither will you. Don't scroll, because what I'm about to reveal is unfolding in the deepest spiritual layers around you. And your heart needs this right now more than you even realize. So breathe slowly and stay with me as this message reaches into the parts of your soul that have been waiting for clarity, waiting for reassurance, waiting for truth. that finally aligns with everything you've been sensing beneath the surface? Because the person who can't stop loving you is standing on the edge of a life-changing emotional decision, a decision they've been avoiding for far too long. And heaven is removing every excuse, every distraction, every illusion they've been hiding behind. Listen closely, because this is for you and only you. This person has reached a point where their feelings are no longer something they can shove into the shadows or bury under pride and the guilt they've been carrying over how things ended, or how things paused, or how they mishandled your heart, is becoming too heavy for them to pretend away. And lately they've been feeling it constantly, like a tug in their spirit, like an ache in their mind, like a whisper that won't leave them alone, pushing them to confront what they've been running from. And don't scroll, because the universe is revealing something powerful here. This person has been having dreams about you, dreams that feel more real than their waking life, dreams where you speak, where you touch, where you look at them with the same softness they miss more than they admit, and they wake up shaken, overwhelmed, sometimes emotional enough that they have to sit on the edge of their bed just to steady themselves. And your heart needs this truth right now. Heaven has been showing them signs everywhere, from angel numbers popping up at impossibly perfect moments, to hearing your name unexpectedly, to stumbling across things that remind them of you so specifically that they can't chalk it up to coincidence anymore. And with every sign, their resistance weakens, their denial cracks, their longing intensifies. And don't scroll, because the angels want you to understand the spiritual depth of this connection. This person is not just missing you casually, or thinking of you occasionally. They are spiritually tethered to you in a way that has become undeniable. And lately, they've been feeling your emotions too. The moments where you feel sad for no reason, the moments where you suddenly think of them, the moments where your chest feels heavy or warm out of nowhere. Those are not random. That is the energetic pull between two souls still deeply connected. Listen closely, because your heart needs this right now. Someone around them has been questioning their sudden mood shifts, their late-night silence, their distance, their emotional volatility, and this has only pushed them further inward, forcing them to face the truth they've been avoiding. Life hasn't been the same without you, and everything they tried to use to replace your presence has failed miserably, leaving them feeling empty in ways they never expected. And don't scroll, because heaven is exposing another layer. This person has been replaying old conversations, old messages, old memories, and it's not nostalgia, it's emotional awakening. They are realizing how much you understood them, how much you saw them, how much you brought out the best parts of them, parts they haven't felt since the distance between you began. And your heart needs to know this. They've reached a point where suppressing their emotions is hurting more than expressing them would. And heaven is making sure they feel that pain so deeply that they can no longer pretend indifference. The universe is cornering them spiritually, guiding them through discomfort, so they finally choose honesty, vulnerability, and reconciliation. And don't scroll, because this next part is important. There is someone in their life who has been influencing them, someone whose opinion they valued, someone who might have encouraged them to pull away or stay silent. But heaven is exposing that person's motives and clearing their influence, because that connection was blocking the spiritual bond meant to unfold between the two of you. Now this person is starting to see the truth, starting to see who genuinely supports them and who doesn't. And this clarity is pushing them even closer to recognizing your importance. Listen carefully, because your heart needs this truth. This person is terrified of reaching out, not because they don't want to, but because they fear rejection, fear that you've changed, fear that they hurt you beyond repair, fear that they won't know how to explain everything they've been carrying inside. And yet, every day that passes, the urge to speak their truth grows stronger. They rehearse conversations in their mind, wondering how they should start, what they should say, how they can show you that their heart has shifted, that their spirit has awakened, that their love has not faded. And don't scroll, because heaven is guiding them toward a moment of breakthrough, whether through an emotional overflow, a divine sign they can't ignore, or a sudden rush of courage. Something is coming that will crack open the silence between you. And your heart needs to hear this last part deeply. The connection was never broken, only paused, and heaven is preparing both of your spirits for a chapter where clarity replaces confusion, where truth replaces fear, where love replaces distance, and the person who can't stop loving you is finally being pushed toward the point where they must step forward, not because they want to, but because their soul can't bear the weight of silence anymore. And soon, the truth they've been hiding will be placed right in front of you, in a way that brings everything into the light. Don't scroll, because what I'm about to reveal is rising to the surface of your story right now. And your heart needs this truth more than you've allowed yourself to admit. So breathe and stay with me as this message weaves into the very emotions you've been suppressing. The ones you feel late at night, when the world is quiet and your intuition grows louder. Because the person who can't stop loving you is reaching a breaking point so intense that heaven is stepping in to redirect their every thought, every memory, every moment of longing, straight back to you. They've been carrying the weight of everything they never said, everything they never apologized for, everything they tried to cover with silence. And lately, that silence has grown too loud, too painful, too spiritually heavy to ignore. And don't scroll, because what's happening inside them is not random. This is divine pressure, emotional awakening, the universe pushing them toward a truth they've been terrified to face. They still love you, with a depth that scares them, with a longing that keeps them up at night, with a tenderness they tried to bury, but couldn't, because your soul marked theirs in a way that can never be erased. And your heart needs this right now. This person has been seeing signs everywhere, signs that whisper your presence, your energy, your spiritual connection, and the more they try to distance themselves, the more the universe redirects them back toward what they've been avoiding, and it's becoming impossible for them to pretend they don't feel what they feel, because heaven has been stripping away distractions, exposing false relationships, dissolving emotional barriers, and making the truth unavoidable. Don't scroll, because the angels want you to understand something deeper. This person has been emotionally unraveling in ways they never expected, hit by waves of longing so strong they have to pause what they're doing just to breathe, remembering moments with you that they didn't appreciate enough at the time, moments where they felt safe, understood, seen, and now they're realizing how rare that connection truly was. They keep hearing your voice in their mind at the most unexpected times, not because they're imagining it, but because their spirit is calling out for the peace they only felt with you. And your heart needs the next part. Someone around them has noticed the change, noticed their sadness, their distant stares, the emotional weight they're carrying, and this has pushed them even further into introspection, forcing them to admit the truth they've avoided. They let go of someone irreplaceable, someone divinely aligned with their soul, someone whose absence has been haunting them more than they ever thought possible. Don't scroll, because the universe is not done revealing. This person has been battling internal fear, fear of vulnerability, fear of rejection, fear of repeating past wounds, fear of stepping into something real, something sacred, something that requires emotional honesty. But now, heaven is dismantling those fears one by one, leaving them exposed, to their own truth, and that truth is you. Your heart needs to feel this. Every time you think of them unexpectedly, every time your mood shifts without explanation, every time you sense their presence energetically, it's because they're thinking of you at that exact moment, pouring emotional energy into the spiritual connection between you, creating a pull so strong that you feel it without even trying. And don't scroll, because there's a deeper revelation. This person has been reliving the last moments between you, the things they said or didn't say, the choices they made, and heaven is allowing them to feel the full weight of it. Not to punish them, but to awaken them. They're realizing how much they sabotage their own happiness out of fear, how much they ran from someone who would have stood beside them, how much they broke their own heart while breaking yours. And your heart needs this clarity, no matter how strong they tried to appear, no matter how distant they acted, no matter how quiet they became. Their love for you never disappeared. It only grew in the dark, matured in the silence, deepened in the absence, and now, heaven is preparing them to face the truth. They can no longer suppress. Don't scroll, because the angels are guiding them toward an emotional turning point, a moment where the heaviness becomes too much, where the longing becomes unbearable, where the silence becomes impossible to maintain. And this moment is closer than you think. Their heart is overflowing with words they wish they could say, confessions they replay in their mind, apologies they practice in the mirror. And heaven is preparing the perfect divine timing for those words to reach you, and your heart needs this final truth. This is not the ending your fear has imagined. This is the pause before awakening, the silence before breakthrough, the emotional unraveling before healing. The person who loves you is being spiritually realigned, emotionally awakened, humbled, and divinely redirected back toward their truth. And whether they take the bold step tomorrow, next week, or in a moment orchestrated by heaven, the connection between you is reawakening, rising, strengthening, and pulling them closer, because some love stories are written so deeply into the soul that they cannot be undone, only delayed. And the delay is ending. Don't scroll, because what I'm about to reveal is being carried toward you through a spiritual current so strong that your intuition has already felt pieces of it. And your heart needs this right now, because the universe is moving in ways you cannot yet see, pushing the person who can't stop loving you into a moment of emotional awakening that is about to spill over into their real life. Their choices, their words, their actions, and their connection to you. Breathe for a second, because the truth unfolding here goes deeper than longing or memory. This is a soul cracking open, a heart surrendering to what it has been refusing to admit, and heaven has reached the point where it will no longer allow them to run, hide, or numb the intensity of what they feel for you. And don't scroll, because the energy around them has been shifting dramatically. This person has been waking up with a heaviness they can't explain, going through their day with a restlessness they can't control, lying down at night with thoughts of you rushing in before they can even take a breath. And heaven has been orchestrating these emotional waves, so they finally confront the truth they've buried under fear and pride. Your heart needs to hear this. They've been seeing signs everywhere, angel numbers flashing like divine reminders, moments that feel like déjà vu, dreams so vivid they wake up shaken, conversations around them that echo your name, and no matter how hard they try to stay grounded in logic, their soul keeps dragging them into the spiritual truth. You are the one their heart still belongs to. Don't scroll, because this next part is going to make something inside you lift. Someone they trusted, someone who once influenced their decisions, someone who kept them emotionally stuck, is being removed from their inner circle by divine intervention, because heaven is clearing the path for their emotional clarity, stripping away voices that once distorted their perception, and with those voices gone, their feelings for you are becoming unmistakable. They're realizing how much of their hesitation wasn't their own fear, but the influence of others who couldn't understand the depth of your connection. And now, without those distractions, your presence is louder in their spirit than ever. Your heart needs this reassurance. They've reached the point where their silence is crushing them more than vulnerability would, where the weight of not speaking is greater than the fear of speaking, and heaven is applying emotional pressure so intense that it's forcing them into a moment of truth. They're starting to understand that their soul has been grieving you, even when their mind tried to ignore it. And this grief is transforming into urgency, into clarity, into the realization that the connection between you was never casual, never temporary. It was divine, rare, and rooted in something far beyond surface attraction. Don't scroll, because something sacred is happening in the background. They're being shown versions of themselves through spiritual reflection, seeing their mistakes, seeing their patterns, seeing the ways they pulled back when they should have leaned in. seeing how they sabotaged something heaven placed in their life, not out of cruelty, but out of old wounds they never healed. And heaven is not shaming them. Heaven is preparing them, opening their eyes, peeling back layers of emotional armor, softening the places where they once pushed you away, and guiding them through a spiritual transformation that brings them back into alignment with the love they were too afraid to claim before. Your heart needs this truth. They've been imagining conversations with you, imagining telling you everything, imagining explaining the fear behind their silence, imagining apologizing for the hurt they caused, imagining what it would feel like to hold you without fear, to choose you without hesitation, to speak their truth without running from it. And don't scroll, because the universe is still revealing. This person has been comparing every connection they encounter to you, and nothing comes close. No one understands them the way you did. No one mirrors their soul the way you did. No one brings them peace the way you did. And they're realizing that you weren't just someone they cared about. You were the person who awakened them emotionally, spiritually, deeply. And as this realization grows, heaven is placing unavoidable moments in their path. The unexpected memory that hits them like lightning, the sudden emotional breakdown they can't hide, the yearning that steals their breath, the intuitive feeling that they're running out of time. And all of these moments are pushing them toward the truth they can no longer deny. Your energy is still intertwined with theirs. Your heart needs this final part. Everything they're feeling, everything they're realizing, everything they're being shown is building toward a moment where the universe presents them with two choices: continue suffering silently, or step into destiny. And heaven is guiding them toward destiny, toward communication, toward emotional honesty, because the connection between you was never meant to fade. It was meant to evolve, meant to strengthen, meant to bring both of you into alignment with the version of yourselves that can finally love without fear. Don't scroll, because the angels are whispering that this emotional transformation happening within them is not random, not delayed, not accidental. It's divine timing, unfolding perfectly, and soon, the truth they've been carrying will spill forward in a way that changes everything. Don't scroll, because this final message is reaching you exactly when your spirit is ready to hear what heaven has been preparing behind the scenes. And your heart needs this right now more than you realize. So breathe, And let these next words settle into the deepest part of you. Everything that has been building, everything stirring in their emotions, everything shifting in the spiritual realm, is moving toward one undeniable truth. This person is about to reach a moment where they can no longer hold back, no longer hide behind fear, no longer pretend the connection didn't change them, because the weight of losing you has become heavier than the fear of loving you, and heaven is aligning the energy around them to guide them straight toward a breakthrough they've been avoiding for far too long. They've been pulled, pushed, awakened, softened, and confronted by every sign imaginable, and now their soul is trembling at the edge of confession, longing, vulnerability, and truth, and they know deep inside that if they don't speak now, if they don't take action soon, they will regret it for the rest of their life. Don't scroll, because your spirit needs this reassurance. Heaven has not let this connection fade, not because of attachment or coincidence, but because this was never meant to be a love story that dissolves in silence. This was meant to be a catalyst, a transformation, a divine awakening for both of you. And even though the journey has been heavy, confusing, and painful at times, everything has been guiding you toward clarity, toward alignment, toward a moment where truth finally rises higher than fear. And your heart needs to know this last part. The emotional storm they're moving through is the last stage before breakthrough, the final shaking before honesty, the unraveling before revelation, and soon, the silence that once felt like abandonment will become the space where healing begins, because heaven has been rebuilding them from the inside out, preparing them to approach you with a heart that is no longer fragmented, no longer confused, no longer running. They may come with trembling words, with fear still lingering in their voice, with vulnerability they're not used to showing, but they will come with truth, with intention, with genuine emotion, because the love they have for you has survived every distance, every distraction, every attempt to bury it, and nothing hidden stays hidden. When heaven decides it's time to reveal, don't scroll, because this is your confirmation. The story isn't over. The connection isn't finished. The truth isn't lost. This is the beginning of the chapter. Everything else has been preparing you for, and what comes next will finally make sense of everything that once broke your heart.